Hi, this is Module 2 about evaluation, re-evaluation, and eligibility for supporting dually identified students, English learners with disabilities. By the end of this module, participants will be able to review key components of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, as they relate to English learner students with disabilities. Understand evaluation, re-evaluation, and eligibility procedures, and apply this knowledge to support practice. Let's begin with evaluations and re-evaluations. LEAs should ensure evaluations are timely and follow required timelines, are linguistically appropriate, administered in the student's native language, use multiple sources of data, are communicated in linguistically appropriate means to parents and families, are not delayed by MTSS, RTI, or other interventions, distinguish between disability and second language acquisition. There is no minimum number of years of access to English instruction before a student can be referred for special education, and involve both EL and special education expertise. LEA should ensure a full and individual evaluation is conducted. Test and other evaluation materials shall be administered in the child's native language, unless it is clearly not feasible to do so. Shall measure the extent to which the child has a disability, rather than measuring the child's English language skills. A variety of assessment tools and strategies shall be used to gather relevant functional, developmental, and academic information about the child, including information provided by the parent. 707 KAR 1300. ARC should consider the following non-exhaustive list of tools and information. A variety of assessment tools and strategies such as standardized and norm reference tools, curriculum-based measures, language and communication measures, interviews, and observation-based methods. Relevant information about the student. This includes mental health, trauma, ACEs, socioeconomic status, developmental history, and functional and behavioral information. Let's take a look at determining eligibility. A child shall not be determined to be eligible if the determinant factor for that eligibility determination is a lack of appropriate instruction in math or reading or limited English proficiency. So how do we rule out limited English proficiency as a determinant factor? Information and data obtained is analyzed, carefully considered, and documented. And just a reminder that eligibility is determined by the ARC, not a single individual or assessment. It also occurs after a comprehensive evaluation. The ARC determines whether the child is a child with a disability to the extent that specially designed instruction is required in order for the child to benefit from education. Here is a non-exhaustive list of sources you may use when determining eligibility and ruling out ELP as a determinant factor. Screenings, response to intervention or RTI, parental input, aptitude tests, achievement tests, teacher recommendations, physical condition, social or ethnic background, adaptive behavior, and behavioral observations. Let's take a look at eligibility considerations. Special factors. The IEP team must consider and document how the language needs of the student relate to the student's IEP. Access scores support ARC teams in ascertaining the student's language needs and ensuring that the student receives appropriate services. Analysis and discussion of access scores help the ARC team make decisions. The access scores should be documented. Access is a standardized English language proficiency assessment that monitors the progress of EL students. So what does this mean for my district? For districts, this means that evaluations for English learners must be timely, linguistically appropriate, and comprehensive. Limited English proficiency cannot be the determining factor in eligibility. Districts must carefully distinguish language acquisition needs from true disability-related needs. Districts must ensure that assessments used for EL avoid linguistic bias and accurately measure the child's abilities, not their English proficiency. Evaluations must rely on multiple sources of data and reflect whether instruction was linguistically accessible. Clear documentation and collaboration across EL and special education staff are essential for making eligibility decisions. And what does this mean for students and their families? For students and families, this ensures evaluations are designed to distinguish disability from language development and consider the whole child. EL students may receive both EL services and special education services without one replacing the other. Families' input is a required part of eligibility decisions, and reevaluations provides an opportunity to confirm whether learning challenges stem from the disability or from ongoing English language development. And finally, how can we utilize these regulations to improve student outcomes? Districts can use these requirements to strengthen evaluation practices by incorporating bilingual measures, language-informed analysis, and collaboration between EL and special education teams. EL teachers bring critical insight into language proficiency, typical second language development patterns, and relevant context. Reviewing evaluation and reevaluation data over time helps reduce disproportionality and refine supports. By communicating results in families' preferred languages and involving them at every step, families can better support their child's learning and understand whether needs stem from disability or language acquisition. And here are some resources. For more information, please visit the English Learners with Disabilities website. Thank you for listening to this module. In Module 3, we will cover the parent rights and the IEP.